Hello, and thank you for watching American Teacher on YouTube. If you haven't, please click subscribe and give me a thumbs up, and leave a comment in the comment section below. Okay, today is a rainy Tuesday evening in Taiwan. We've got a tropical depression off the southwest coast, I think, that's forming and might turn into a tropical storm, which is expected to bring some more rain. Today's topic is about how China's authoritarian reach is moving into the tech industry. And I've talked a little about this before, how China's control over tech companies has, especially their overseas IPOs, initial public offerings, how this has wiped out over $1 trillion worth of value on the stock market. And today I saw an article in the Financial Times magazine. It is written by Hudson Lockett and Ryan McMorrow. It's dated today, August 3rd, 2021. The title is China's Tencent Imposes Controls to Tackle Gaming Addiction Among Children. Okay, so evidently the long reach of the Chinese government is getting into the video game industry, and this will have huge implications for tech companies, especially ones that do business in China. So according to the article, Tencent has announced new restrictions limiting how long minors can play its online games after the Chinese internet group came under intense pressure from state media, which labeled the gaming industry a, quote, spiritual opium, end quote. So opium is a very sore point in Chinese history. Basically, the Western countries in ancient times, got the Chinese people hooked on opium. And the Western countries continued to sell opium to China, and China became so weak because of this. And so when they call the gaming industry spiritual opium, they are implying that gaming is just as much a drug as opium, and that it could lead to the weakening of China. Online gaming could lead to the destruction of China. So these are strong words from the China's state media, their propaganda machine. Strong words against the gaming industry. The article goes on to say, in a social media post, the company said it was introducing the measures after, quote, relevant authorities, end quote, requested greater protection of minors in gaming, and for companies to carry out their, quote, societal responsibility, end quote. Shares in Tencent, whose online games business generated $6 billion in the first quarter and accounted for 30% of its total revenues, fell as much as 10.8% in Hong Kong, before paring losses to be down about 6% following the company's announcement. The renewed volatility came after China's tech stocks notched their worst month since the global financial crisis in July, following an unprecedented regulatory campaign against tech sectors, including education, ride-hailing services, and social media. Tencent's new restrictions, which will initially apply only to its flagship title, Honor of Kings, will further reduce the duration that minors are allowed to spend gaming each day, prohibiting anyone under the age of 12 from in-game spending, and clamp down on minors playing on adult accounts. Tencent also raised 3 proposals for the entire industry, including strengthening systems to tackle gaming addiction, and called for consideration of a complete ban for those younger than 12. So the Chinese government is cracking down on online gaming, and this is probably only just the beginning. I kind of have a problem with all this regulation. Well, I have a big problem with all this regulation. I am of the opinion that society cannot regulate itself into a good situation, a desirable situation. Like for cigarettes, yeah, you can ban cigarettes, but there will always be a black market, and that money will go to criminal organizations. This is why I've been for the legalization of marijuana, because criminal organizations benefit when something is made illegal, something is banned. It doesn't go away. It just puts money into the pockets of organized crime groups. So yeah, you can't legislate people into leading a healthy life. I don't believe that's a solution, and it's contrary to the idea of democracy, where the people themselves decide what's good for them and what's bad for them, for their own bodies and themselves. So I think while I would not, if I had children, I would not want them to spend too many hours playing video games. I also would not ban them from playing video games. And I would not want my government to ban me or my children from playing video games. The article goes on to say that there was an article in the Economic Information Daily newspaper, which is run by Chinese state agency, news agency Xinhua, which said online video games had grown into, quote, spiritual opium worth hundreds of billions, end quote. One expert warned that, quote, no industry can develop in a way that destroys a generation, end quote. The article published did not mention Tencent by name, but complained of widespread internet addiction among China's youth. It quoted unnamed students as saying that some of their classmates spent as many as 8 hours a day on Honor of Kings, which is Tencent's most popular game, and warned that this new type of electronic drug was advancing by leaps and bounds. So again, they referred to it as an electronic drug. And the article points out the historical significance of this. It says, the historically charged comparison, likening Chinese video game makers to the foreign opium peddlers whose trade contributed to the disintegration of imperial China, also sent shares of some Tencent rivals sharply lower in morning trading. And they mentioned the companies NetEase and XD. NetEase dropped as much as 15.7%, and XD dropped as much as 21.8%. So whenever the Chinese government prints something in the state media, in the propaganda machines, it is a warning, especially something like this, and they are definitely going to begin cracking down on online gaming. Are there people addicted to gaming? Yes. I'm sure there are many people addicted to gaming, but the solution is not banning online gaming. That is just exerting more control over your population. I think when people are happy with their lives and they have good mental health, they are less likely to form addictions, such as addictions to gaming. So a government would be better advised to put their effort into maintaining mental health for the population, maintaining mental health services that are accessible to all members of the population, rather than just outright banning things that are readily available, like games, video games. You can't legislate good behavior. You can't legislate healthy behavior. If people are suffering mentally, they will engage in unhealthy behaviors. It's better to give them avenues to improve their mental health. Because where does it stop? I mean, everyone's heard about the proposed, I think it failed, but the proposed soda tax in New York City. Really, a tax on soda? I mean, to try to dissuade people from drinking soda? You can make your own soda at home. It's ridiculous. You're trying to force people to become healthy. You can't force someone to become healthy. Besides, it's against their human rights. It's against their rights. So China is exerting more and more and more control over its people. And you can tell that the Chinese people are not happy. I saw another article today talking about Chinese people's reaction to their Olympics teams. It was in BBC News today, August 3rd, 2021. The title is Tokyo Olympics, Chinese Nationalists Turn on Their Athletes. And the article talks about there's immense pressure on Chinese athletes to perform at the Olympics. And according to the article, many people in China are not satisfied with bronze or silver. They criticize their own athletes if they don't win gold. And the pressure has been so high that, for an example, the article mentions China's mixed doubles table tennis team. They gave a tearful apology at the Tokyo Olympics last week for winning the silver medal, second place. One of the players said, quote, "I feel like I've failed the team. I'm sorry, everyone," end quote, bowing in apology with tears in his eyes. She, actually it was a woman, and her partner said that the whole country was looking forward to this final. I think the entire Chinese team cannot accept this result. The article says on Weibo, the micro-blogging platform in China, the one that's government sanctioned, some people attacked the table tennis pair, saying that they had, quote, failed the nation, end quote. Others made unsubstantiated rumors of or claims of referee bias towards Japan's referees at the games. So that's not the sign of a healthy society. I mean, attacking your own Olympic athletes because they won silver instead of gold. That's not the sign of people who are satisfied with their lives. That's a sign of people who are very unsatisfied. But it was not just limited to table tennis. The badminton doubles team were targeted when they lost their badminton doubles final to Taiwan. they actually got, in this case, they actually got silver again. China won silver, Taiwan won gold. One Weibo user said, quote, "Are you guys not awake? You didn't put in any effort at all. What crap?" End quote. For silver. So nationalism has reached a very unhealthy level in China. And also the people are dissatisfied with the increasing levels of control that their government exerts on them. This is a dangerous combination because China, at the same time that it's putting more and more control on its own people, it's trying to convince them through its propaganda machine that the cause of their ills is external, it's other countries. In China's Global Times magazine, which is another China propaganda magazine, they continually post stories trying to say that COVID-19 began in the Fort Detrick lab in the United States. There is no evidence that COVID began in the United States. And that is from many, many different news sources in many different countries. The only news source that continues to perpetuate this falsehood about COVID starting at Fort Detrick is China. They want to deflect criticism onto other countries. So this is extremely unhealthy, and I fear that the Chinese citizens are being whipped into a nationalistic frenzy by the government and its propaganda machines. So hopefully, we can resolve our differences without any bloodshed, and everyone can continue to live their lives peacefully. Taiwan can continue to have its democracy apart from China. And America can continue to do business with Taiwan without China trying to interfere. And other countries can form stronger ties with Taiwan without China trying to interfere. Those are the keys to peace. It remains to be seen if we can do those things without resorting to warfare. Because freedom is worth fighting for. Our own forefathers in America wrote that into the Constitution. Freedom is paramount, is most important. So freedom is worth fighting for. But I hope it doesn't come to that. Because I know America is definitely willing to fight to preserve freedom. Thank you for watching American Teacher. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Bye-bye.